Hi, Christine. Yeah, welcome. I've just put everyone on mute, so we're just about to begin. There we go. Okay. Welcome. Someone else just joining. Kath just joining. Hi, Kath. Welcome. I put everybody on mute and we're recording, so we're going to kick off straight away. Me and me dog. Here we go. He's ready for his Taiji class tonight. Not that he needs it. Feet parallel, underneath the hips. Knees lightly bent. Sternum lifted up. Back of the head up. Crown of the head up. Use your legs to push your crown of your head up. Get inside your body. Really push your crown of the head up to the sky. Feel the tension in the body. And then let your body blend with gravity. We want to take the tension out of the legs. The legs are normally holding the weight of the body up. We want to allow the weight of the body to be received into the sinking legs. And while the legs are softening and changing, open the lower back. Feel the lengthening of the spine, falling away from the crown of the head, and just let the body settle. Hands open up. With the hip joints softening, place the awareness deep into the hip joints, and to move the body, soften the hip joints. And let the leg release. Both hip joints softening, both legs releasing. Turn. Rebound. The awareness in the hip joints, soften both hip joints. Let both hip joints move. And settle. Rebound. Sink as if you're sinking in sand under the left foot, softening the hip joints, opening the lower back, and settling. The knee bends and the hips soften. Settling. To rebound, drop onto the ground, relax more, increase the foot pressure, and let the foot pressure turn the hips right through to the fingertips. Soften the hip joints. Settle. To rebound, drop onto the right foot, increase the pressure by dropping on. Pressure and fullness increases. Let that fullness turn your hips. Bring the mind out to the fingertips. Let the knees soften. Let the upper body weight press into the lower legs. Keep the mind in the legs and base. To rebound, drop onto the left foot, increase the pressure and fullness in the left leg, and let that fullness turn the hips and rebound right through to the fingertips. Release. Hips softening. Upper body pressing into the legs. Rebounding. Drop onto the right. Let the fullness increase. Let the fullness turn the waist and the movement or the awareness right out to the fingertips. Release. Rebound. Release. As much as possible, try not to get the turning by pushing. Try not to get the leg to contract to push you back square. Once you've softened, then drop deep under the ground. Try to increase the pressure in the leg by dropping onto the leg a little bit more, feeling the fullness of that leg and using that fullness to turn the body. Softening up the body, letting it come right through to the fingertips. Release. Sink. Drop onto the leg. Rebound. As you drop on the leg, you drop on the abdomen, you drop on the shoulders. Everything's changing as you rebound. The wave of fullness comes right through to the fingertips. But first, bring that fullness into the leg. to the waist. Between the foot and the waist is the first stage of getting the rebound to be accurate and a sensation you feel, rather than being a push, rather than being a contraction of the body to move the body. Let the body fall in on the release and then release onto the leg. Let the fullness of the leg pass you across. You have to fully let your body weight drop in. If you're still holding on, you'll have to use contraction to move your body. When you fully let your upper body weight press onto your leg, something else, it feels like your body's very free to move. Number 2, sinking into sand. Let the knees bend, let the glutes soften, settle down. Feel the spine elongate. 4 swings of the arms. To come back up, drop onto the feet more, relax the legs more, increase the pressure in the legs. Let them rebound. 4 swings of the arms. As you drop the legs, the lower back opens, the spine elongates. The legs feel like you're sinking into sand. You don't increase the pressure in the feet. And the whole body follows. To come back up, drop onto the feet more, increase the pressure in the feet, and let that pressure wave push you back up. It's like when you're sinking, you draw the ball down, and to come onto the surface of the water, so the ball's sinking through the air onto the surface of the water, and to come back up, you drop the ball under the surface of the water, and the pressure then pushes you back up. That's an analogy I kind of feel, and if it works for you, great, but the going down is very fluid. You're not really creating pressure, you're just dropping a beach ball downwards onto the surface of the water. And then to come back up, you're pushing the beach ball under the water, or you're taking the beach ball lower. The pressure increases and it pushes the body back up. So we're really starting to look at pressure changes in the body. Not just movement, but how the releasing body blends with gravity and generates pressure changes within the structure of the body. Main aim is, as you're sinking, to give up the holding of the body, give up the weight of the body, and the whole body presses into the legs. Synchronized movement. When the legs soften, the upper body presses in straight away. Shoulders drop, connect. Third exercise. Soften the knees, soften the hip joints. Turn, sink into the sand. Increase the pressure as you rebound. Sinking. Sinking means softening, means releasing, means letting the body press into the leg to create the connected body, turning and softening and settling. To turn back, relax onto the leg, increase the pressure, dropping the ball under the water, the pressure increases and the body moves. Sinking, connect, pressure, return. Sinking downwards, the mind down under the foot. The mind rises with a rebound out to the fingertips. Sinks under the foot as you release. As you rebound, bring the mind back through to the fingertips. Sink, rebound. Sink, rebound. Sink, rebound. Sink. Fourth exercise, lifting, sinking. With this exercise, we want to synchronize the whole body. The upper arms don't move by themselves. The base changes, the lower back releases, the upper body falls in, shoulders fall in, and then the arms fall in. Try and synchronize these movements. Not to move the legs first and then the next bit and then the next bit, but the whole body synchronized as one unit. Like a beach ball, the whole, or like a concertina, the whole of the concertina changing together. The first thing is the legs, is the base. The first thing to change from here is the base. Everything falls in. And keeps falling in until the hands reach this position. Rebound and release. Rebound out to the fingertips and release. On the third one, sinking in, rebound. Hands open up, push. Coming up, total curling, nice straight, settled posture. Fifth loosening exercise, narrower than normal, narrower than our normal bow stance. We're sitting back, 90% in the back leg, falling in, drawing down, the knees bend, the hips soften, both hips soften. We're looking for exactly the same thing. The legs change and the upper body falls in, synchronized into the center. In the center, we drop the back knee, which increases the pressure in the back leg, like dropping the ball under the ground. Increase the pressure in the back leg. The center drops off the back leg, softens the front hip, and sinks slightly towards the front leg. So there's like a movement down and forwards. That the pressure in the back leg, by dropping the back knee down, you increase the pressure under the back foot and in the back leg, like dropping the ball under the water, and that pressure, center drops off the back leg and down towards the front leg. Back leg then can expand. Sit back 90%. Release down. Don't let this releasing down lock the body. As soon as you feel the pressure in the back leg, let the center move forwards. So the pressure doesn't stay in the back leg. As soon as you start to feel the pressure developing in the back leg, let the center move forwards, soften the front hip, sink more to the front foot. What you don't want is that pressure locked in the body. We want to be able to pass the pressure through the body. So pressure waves travel through a medium by the medium changing. Okay. Air waves pass through the air. Sound waves pass through the air by the air changing. Pressure waves pass through water by the water molecules changing. Pressure passes through our body by the body softening and allowing pressure to move through us. So what we have to feel is, first of all, connected, then develop the pressure, and then let that pressure move through the body. Sit right back. These are all the same way of describing what we do, how we move, just different approaches may just make you feel more connection to how we practice. So we're talking about a ball under the water may have more of a meaning. Talking more about sinking down into quicksand or into sand may soften deep under the foot, may make you more able to make the body melt more. So a metaphor or an idea or a visualization can help you find the correct way of training, the correct experience we're looking for. Sinking into both legs. Upright, stable, connected. That's the first condition we're looking for. Then we drop the back knee, which is basically letting the hip joints soften, letting the lower back soften, as if the whole thigh is dropping away from the hip joint. Dropping the back knee is like dropping the weight of the thigh down to the ground. It increases the pressure in the foot, and that pressure increase from the feet drops the center forward, pushes the center forwards and through to the front foot. Sit back. Move into the center, drawing down underneath both feet, connecting the body. Drop the back thigh or drop the back knee, increase the pressure in the back foot, and roll the center down and through. One more time, sit back, 90% on the back foot. Into the 50-50 posture. The posture's right in the middle. The connection is more in 55 in the back leg, 45 in the front. We're going to drop the back knee or back thigh, and we're going to pass the connection 55 to the front foot. Sit back. We'll do one more drill before we do a fall. So this is stepping. So with the right foot forwards, bow stance, centrally stable. Sinking forwards onto the right foot, turn to the corner. Step left 90 degrees with the feet. As I reach the 50-50 point, the ball of the left foot touches. I'm facing the corner, the feet at 90 degrees. I stay in the center and turn in, sink, load the back leg onto the front, wave through to the front leg. Turn and sink. Spiraling into the left foot, turn to the corner. Step, still facing the corner, move in. As I reach the center, the ball of the right foot touches, the feet are at 90 degrees, body upright. Turn the waist. Load the back leg. Center drops to the front foot, wave through the body. Sink onto the front leg and turn. 100% step. Glide in, the ball of the foot touches. Turn the hips. Load the back leg by dropping the back knee to the ground. Sink onto the front leg. In the sinking, turn. Step. Glide in. Position the body, organized. Load the back leg. Sink to the front as the back leg expands. In that sinking to the front leg, turn. Step. I just want to have a look at your movement and if there are any questions with any of this movement, but we'll just do this stepping drill to try and keep these movements as accurate as possible so they don't blur into one another. If anyone's got any thoughts or questions, please ask, or observations. The only time to look at your feet is when you just step to make sure they're in the right place. Try not to have your head down looking at your feet. Just get a sense of where your feet are in space. key things really are to be 100% when you're sinking, spiraling into the foot, releasing the lower back, elongating the spine as you sink and spiral into the foot for stability. So you don't have to jab at taking a step. You can keep relaxing onto the stable foot in order to step. Good. Have a look. Come round to the screen and have a look. As I'm sinking, I'm spiraling. While I'm sinking and spiraling, if you look at my front knee, the knee mustn't move in. The weight mustn't come into the front inside edge of the front foot. The front knee only bends towards the toes. That means that the hip joint has to open as I move on to the front leg. So I'm turning and the hip joint is opening. This is exactly the same movement as loosening exercise number 1, because when I'm sinking in here, the hip joint's opening. So this, keeping the knee in place and stable, turning the hips to open the hip joint and still sinking right through to the end of the movement is exactly the same as the first loosening exercise. So then when we step, we sink, we open the hip, we soften the lower back, we feel the spine elongate, and in the turning of the hips, we step. So the hip, the thigh is connected to the left hip. The left hip's going to turn this way because I'm spiraling in. That's the time to take the step. So the step isn't something separate that I do with my left foot. It comes because the hips are turning, the left foot moves with the turning hips, okay? But to get the hips, to get that to happen, that fullness and empty, that substantial and insubstantial, to get that step really light, you have to have the substantial working really well. So your focus needs to be more on continuing to sink, continuing to let go, and continuing to draw down into the stable foot, not thinking about the step. As soon as you start thinking about the step, you'll take some focus off the sinking, and then when the focus is off the sinking, the changes stop happening. So while I'm sinking onto the front leg, I want all my focus going onto this spiraling down, being led from the base changes. All the sinking in the leg, the upper body follows, and then I step. So 90% of my focus is on the sinking and the spiraling and making sure there isn't any holding on in the stable leg, and there isn't any movement in the stable leg. So I would like us to do this really slowly so we can be really clear about any movement in the stable leg, any holding on in the stable leg, and to work with melting as if we're sinking under sand in that stable leg. Okay, so here, moving forwards, every release allows the movement to go forwards and turn. Still sinking, still releasing, still opening the lower back. Step, move in, press the ball of the foot onto the ground, turn, load the back leg and through. The focus is on the sinking, the changing in the stable leg. opening the lower back, spiraling in, continuing to sink in order to step. Move in, ball of the foot touches, turn the hips, load the back leg, and through onto the front. Release, sinking, spiraling in, continuing to release and step. Keep going through. I'd like to have a look at your movements. And if there's any observations or anything in that that is not clear, let me know. You'll have to unmute. I'm going to give a couple of points to Toby and Brian because I can see their feet in the videos. Everybody else's feet I can't see. So I'm going to give them a couple of points. Doesn't mean you've lost any points. It just means they've got extra. Cool. Right. Just helps me see what you do. And then I can, because it's not a class, in a class, I'd be able to see everybody's movement really easily. Yeah, Jim's just got a point. Right. I know it's easier for some cameras and positions in the room than others. So, we have to make allowances. But the more I can see, the more I can help you with your movements. Front knee gets really stable, front hip opens. Yeah, good. Good. Have a little look. Have a little look. Couple of people are doing this. You have to be really careful that you're not doing this, right? Which is you're moving in, you're turning and sinking, you're getting 95% stable, right? And then for the last 5% stability, you're tightening to step. Okay, it goes the wrong way. We want that last 5% stability to come from that last little bit of letting go. So you have to feel your whole body, including the crown of the head, pressing you onto the ground for your stability, not relying on the tightening of the muscles for that last little bit of stability. Okay, so if you do it too quickly, you'll miss that. You'll get 95% stable, and then you'll do something. You have to go really slowly, because it forces you to see whether or not you're still sinking, whether or not you're really balanced, whether or not you're organized, whether or not you're fully letting go, and then stepping. Okay, and you have to be really, really honest with yourself. Okay, and if your body wants to tighten up, you have to acknowledge it and say, yeah, in that position, I can't let go of all my tension, and then it gives you something to really work with. Okay, but if you get the habit of getting 95% stable and then tightening up, you won't break the habit. And with someone, well, let's say that's the place we want to get to, that place of giving up, that place of vulnerability, where we can just simply let the body go and empty. It's what our Tai Chi can take us towards. Okay. Otherwise, we kind of gloss over these difficult places in ourselves. And Chen Manching used to say, invest in loss. And I'd say this is a key place. Giving up your holding or giving up the tension in the body is one of the key things that Tai Chi teaches us. So you have to mentally give up and physically give up your holding in order to step accurately and discover full and empty. Full and empty is an easy concept to talk about. It's actually a really difficult concept because it means an awful lot of giving up and holding on to habits. And practicing slowly is the best way to work with it. So you've got the awareness of what you're doing in your body as you move. So this little stepping drill, obviously it comes into the form every time we step. It's a really good drill. It's a really good drill. I'd recommend doing the stepping drill, you know, a dozen times before you do the form. And then it'll start to kind of highlight to you in yourself, oh yeah, there's that going on when I move. Oh yeah, I'm stabbing my foot out rather than sinking and allowing it out. Okay, so you get a really clear picture of what you're doing in your body. I wish Tai Chi was easy. It's not. It takes a lot of focus. It's a martial art and it takes a lot of focus to change. You know, in those martial arts, they don't give away black Dan belts very easily. You have to work hard at them. And it's exactly the same with Tai Chi, but we don't have any belts, fortunately, but it's the same thing. To transform, you have to put the work in. If you don't put the work and the awareness in, you stay the same. And actually, as we get older, we get worse. So that's what's staring us in the face in a way. It's not the reason to practice, but it's part of the practice. It's the transformation. And the internals of Tai Chi, the internal muscle changes, is the kind of route towards letting go of a lot of internal tension and, you know, becoming vulnerable enough to really feel those changes. So that's my encouragement. If anyone's got any observations, you're very welcome to share.
Is it fair to say, look, that one limiting factor is just your core stability? I mean, just at a muscular level?
Yeah. But, and sometimes that's easier when it's more dynamic and when it's just happening over 1 or 2 seconds. If you try and linger with core stability, the muscles have to be changing while let's put it another way, that stability is dynamic, right? As soon as you stop changing your muscles, or as soon as you stop releasing, you're static. And as soon as you're static, you're not going to fall over, but your stability is a lot less. So that movement from one foot to another is dynamically changing the whole time in order to take that step. If I move here and I stop my changes, then I have to redo something else and I'm not so stable. So I don't want stability to come from just being still. I want stability to come from allowing my weight to press in and allowing gravity to press me in while I take the step. So a couple of seconds, 2 or 3 seconds of changing the muscles is the best time to step. Yeah. If you linger, if you move onto your front foot, turn, step, which is how we teach the beginners, A, B, C, D, actually it doesn't work so well. It teaches you about being upright. It teaches you about a movement finishing, but it doesn't teach you about dynamic pressures in the body. And you need the dynamic movement and you need the dynamic pressure of what supports the body in order to step. So yeah, you know, it's intermediate level. You need to be changing while, in order for those pressures to be fluid and buoyant, the muscles need to be in a state of change. As soon as the muscles stop, the whole thing locks. That makes sense, Brian. Give us a thumbs up if it does. Yeah, great. Let's carry on a little bit. Let me have a look. Then we'll do some form.
This is a stupid question, but do you adjust your feet at all after you've stepped?
Yeah, the back foot comes in with the turning of the hips.
Okay.
right? And there isn't a stupid question in Tai Chi, right? No question is stupid. What's important is that you're clear what you're working with, right? And my learning of Tai Chi is that my teachers keep saying the same things again and again and again and again. And so at some point you go, I thought that sounds like the first time I've heard it, but that's when you actually understand it. Until then, you're just hearing it again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you think it's the first time I'm sure he said that before, I'm sure she said that before. That's when you start to really grasp what they're talking about. Then you don't need to hear it anymore. But my job as a teacher is to reinforce what we're doing and to keep saying the same thing until your body is able to understand it. Now, there isn't a stupid question in Tai Chi. So it's good to ask as much as you can so that you're really clear what you should be practicing and the best way to practice so that it isn't blurred in your mind of what you're doing. It's really clear for you what you're doing.
That's a bit of a hangover from prep school, I think. We used to
Sure.
get smacked round the head if you asked us.
Yeah, I know. Well, the worst thing I do is take a point off somebody for not moving their feet, so it's not so bad. No.
So when you're bringing your back foot round, are you still sinking on it though?
It's slightly weighted.
Okay.
So if you have a look, when I sink in the front foot step, when I move in,
Yeah.
this back leg is slightly weighted. What I want to be, if I do it facing you, so my knee's facing you, what I want to make sure when my toes come in is that my knee doesn't lead. Because if my knee leads, it's going to go at a different angle to my foot. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to turn my foot in by my foot losing it, my leg losing its structure. If the leg becomes too floppy, when I turn my knee in, my foot stays behind, stuck to the ground, and I want some structure in my back leg. So when I turn the foot in, it pivots on the heel and the whole leg comes in as a structured unit. Right? That's quite important, because otherwise, especially doing it on a carpet, what you're going to feel is that the foot sticks to the ground and can't move because it feels like it's got some weight on it. The leg goes floppy because you think it needs to be relaxed. And the knee comes in and leaves the foot behind, and you lose the structure of the leg. So you need to have some tension in the leg to cause the structure of the leg to move as a unit into position. And once it's in position, you can carry on. So you have to know, you don't want the body so limp and so relaxed that it loses its structure. The body has to have a certain strength to it and a certain structure to it. And within that structure, the muscles are changing. And this is quite a good place to kind of look at the structure of the back leg. So it can all move from the hip to the heel as one unit with the knee part of that structure. Yeah, that's good, Jim. Yeah, that structure of that movement of that leg is good. Yeah. Toby, when you move the back leg in, don't move on to the front leg and then move back out of the front leg. Stay in the center. Once you're in the center, move the back foot in. Yeah, that's good, Brian. Good. Right, we need to put some of this in the form, so we've got some time to do the form tonight, a little bit. So just some feedback. Is it useful working in this way? Is this kind of like technical stuff good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Great, because sometimes I wonder, because it's not a class situation, it's harder for me to read how you're getting on with it. So I kind of ask just to know, because sometimes technical is a bit too technical. Right?
Yeah, can I ask something?
Yeah, sure, Jim.
I'm just going to put my feet. You see the feet?
Yeah,
So,
I can see a bit too much table.
oh,
Just change it a little bit. There we go. That's great. Yeah.
so here,
Yeah.
weights on here,
Yeah.
sinking down
Yeah.
and
Sinking
moving
to both.
forwards.
Yeah.
Now, to bring my foot round,
Yeah.
I've got quite a lot of weight in the front foot.
Yeah.
And then now I load the back foot.
Yeah. You've got too much weight in the front leg while you turn the back in.
So while you're turning the back in, have you got quite a lot of weight in it?
Yes.
Okay, it's a bit tricky if there's a lot of friction on the floor, on the ground, I think.
We'll try and get the movement between the heel and the hip. If you think the ball joint is a ball and you think the heel is like a ball on the floor, you've got 2 points around which you can turn. The hip joint and the heel, yes, that's much better. And then between the hip joint and the heel, you can turn, even though there's weight on it, you can turn it as a block.
Okay, that helps.
And once you get that right, you can stop it being so blocky. But the first thing for a simple kind of physical thing is just turn the leg from the hip to the heel. You can even bring the toes off the ground lightly and turn it as a block. And even though there's weight in it, it'll turn much more easily on the heel and the hip joint.
Okay, good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, because people struggle with that because they keep the foot too flat on the ground and the foot drags and the knee changes its angle from the...
Yeah, I can see that. I can keep my leg weight on it now.
Yeah, great. Because imagine the situation, right? You're doing some push hands with somebody. You need to step, position your base, load up and throw them. All you're doing really is bringing the back leg into position quite quickly. So you're stepping, move the back leg in, load it, and so the turning of the back leg in is actually quite mechanical. But the loading is much more internal, but the turning of the back leg is fairly mechanical.
Good.
Yeah, it's like you put the body in position and then load the muscles and the leg. It's like get the position right, which is a mechanical bit. It's like get the arrow, put the arrow on target, and then load it and fire the arrow. So it's like bringing the back leg in. It's just putting the arrow into the right position, putting the bow into the right position, from which you can stretch the bow and let go of the arrow. So bringing the back leg in is just simply putting the body into the right structural position, which you can load and then fire. That's the way I see it. I think that's quite a good simplified model, just to get the structure of the body accurate and not kind of like because we tend to make the body. The classics of Tai Chi say there should be no holes and no protuberances. What that means is no excess and no insufficiencies. And what that means is the posture shouldn't be soft and floppy, which are holes, and it shouldn't be hard and excess. It's somewhere between the two of just being held at a really light place that is circular and full, but not floppy. And what we have a tendency to do because we talk about relax, relax, relax all the time, is instead of relax, 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 it's collapse, collapse, collapse. Yeah. And to put the structure back, we don't want to talk too much about structure because that's about filling out and putting a bit of tension back into the body, which we want to kind of like avoid having too much tension. So it's finding this midway point between fullness and emptiness. And there's a kind of an aliveness, like the skin of a bubble. Up on those bubbles you blow. It's strong, but it's weak at the same time. It's soft and it's fluid, but it's full. And these are the kind of Tai Chi contradictions that I love so much, you know, because it's not one way or the other way. It's that line between the two that's really fascinating. Of being alert, but not super concentrated, being quiet and calm, but not asleep. It's that quality of just kind of resting with ourselves in a place that's neither or. There's a different way of being, which is a blend of the two. And we kind of tend to see things as black and white. And we understand things more easily in a black and white, do this, do that, that's right, that's wrong. Actually, it's a blend of things together. There's a middle force. Right, let's go through the form. We'll start at cross hands. We'll do embrace tiger, return to mountain. Yeah, we'll do that section. Feet parallel. Nice, upright. Lift the chest, lift the crown of the head, settle the upper body into the legs, sinking into sand. Nice, full circle with the hands crossed. Soften both hips. Turn. Settling onto the right. First loosening exercise. Let the left foot open. Again, the left foot opens like a unit between the heel and the hip. Same thing as we've just done. Turn back. Lift the left arm. Keep turning as you pass the weight to the left foot. Keep turning as you step. Keep turning as you move in. Keep turning as you turn the left foot out. Settle into the center. Load the back leg. Keep turning to 6 o'clock. Yes, you. Turn back. Sit straight back, 90% in the back leg. Turn and lift. As you sink, the left shoulder settles, the left elbow settles, and you turn in. So there's a sinking and a spiraling as you turn in. Load the base, press. Sit back. Load the base by softening both hip joints, softening both knees, settling into the center. Soften the front hip joint, load the back leg and through. Push. Leave the fingertips behind. Find the back leg, turn. Here the right leg turns in as a unit. The knee and the toe together. Turn back. One complete turn. The hips are turning without stopping here. They turn and the left hand lifts. They turn and you draw the left toes in. They turn as you step. They turn as you turn to the corner. And they finally turn as you sink and load the back leg. Release to the front leg, wave to both hands. We're going to do that last bit again. So going from cross hands. First of all, awareness of the crown of the head. Awareness of the sinking. Crown of the head. Spine elongates as you soften the right leg. Soften the knee, soften the hip, sinking into sand. The left leg opens as a unit. The left leg closes as a unit. The left arm lifts. Sit away from the right hand, keep turning the waist. Draw the right toes in, keep turning the waist. Feet at 90 degrees as you step, move in. Keep turning the waist. The left leg comes round as a unit. Sink into the center, load the back leg. Release to 6 o'clock. Stay on the front leg, roll back, sit back. Turn to open. There's a sinking to turn back, sinking. Base sinks, the shoulder sinks, the elbow sinks. As the arms softening and sinking, you turn back, moving in to press. Sit back, hands open. Sink the base, both knees soften, both hips soften. Sink into the center. Load the back leg, pressure in the back leg moves through to the front. Push. Sit back. Turn. The right leg's going to turn as a unit on the ball of the foot and the hip joint. Move the weight to the right foot. The hips are going to turn in one fluid movement to the corner. So you start the turn and bring up the left hand. You draw in the left foot. You keep turning and sinking on the right. You step. You move in. The feet are at 90 degrees. You turn. The right leg turns in as a unit. You sink and load the right leg. Sink to the front leg. Wave to both hands. Have a go with that section yourselves. There's a lot in there. There's a lot of detail in there. I don't really want to add any more at this stage because I want to build on what we've done this class. And that section's really good for this, this thing of the leg moving as a unit and the stepping. Good. Okay, have a little look at how we get into single whip. Single whip, the movement of the left hand stays in front on the center line of the body. So the body's turning and the left hand stays on the center line. So as soon as you lift the left hand, it's on the center line of the body. As the body turns, it stays on the center line of the body. As the body moves in, it stays on the center line of the body. As the body turns, it stays on the center line of the body. As the body sinks, it drops. And the fingers are still there. Okay, so it looks like the left hand does this. The left hand moves and pushes out or does something. The left hand does very little. All it does is that. All the left hand does is starts the same posture as that. And all it does is it turns over and the elbow and the shoulder and the elbow drop. So it's like the left hand falls off a great big ball. The left hand is here facing you and it turns over as the shoulder drops and the body sinks into that position. How does it do that? Let's have a look. So if I do it facing, if I start here, I sit back and turn. With this turn, there's a slight sinking through the body. So I'm spiraling into my left foot. My shoulders are dropping and the hands slightly drop. They were higher. The fingers were at the height of the throat with a push. I sit away from the hands and as I turn, my shoulders are dropping and the hands lower, more to the height of the sternum or the abdomen. I turn back and I'm holding the ball. My hands are on the center line of the body. I turn and form a hook. My hands are still on the center line of the body. The left hand lifts. The fingers are at the wrist on the center line of the body. Both hands on the center line of the body. As soon as I step and move in, the hook stays where it is, and the left hand moves with the center line of the body, finally sinking and turning over. Load the back leg, wave comes through to both hands. This goes from 2 fingers dropped to slightly straight. As the force comes through this hand, the fingers go out just about the length of 1 finger, the same as the push. As the wave comes through, the hands go out slightly. As the wave comes through the hand, both hands go out slightly. Have a go yourself from the push. Sit back, long in the arms, turn. Hands in front of the body, hands in front of the body, hands in front of the body, hands in front of the body. Left hand moves with the body, right hand stays behind. Left hand with the body, load the back leg, wave to both hands. Yeah, keep going. If you've got any questions, please ask. There's very little flourishing move with the hands in Tai Chi. It looks like they're going all over the place, but they really just stay with the center of the body. So Kath, when you move, the hand stays a bit higher. It stays in that position and then falls off, rather than coming down and coming up into that position. Yeah. Pay attention to where your center line is more than where your hand is. So Jim, in this move, the hand's in this position. It stays in this position and then drops over. It doesn't come down and go up. It doesn't drop down, come out and push. It just stays in this position. It drops over into a push position, and then the wave comes through into the push. So it's more this movement. With the turning of the body, the hand comes round, sinks, and drops into position. So it kind of, the elbow gets heavy as the shoulder relaxes, and it draws the hand into that position. It's literally from that to that. With the sinking of the body, it's from that position with the elbow low to the elbow lower. That position, which is like ward off right, to that position, which is push. Good. For some reason, and I don't know why, or I don't know if it's other forms, there tends to be too much activity with this hand in single whip. The activity in the hand should come from the wave that comes through and expands the arm, not pushing out, not the muscles that push out the hand, or not the muscles that turn the hand over. The hand stays relaxed and connected, so that when the body's connected, the wave of force can come through to the fingertips, expressed through the fingertips. I think that's going to give you plenty to practice this week. I'm going to send you the video tomorrow, but I'd like to move on from that section I'd like to kind of go into Doused Immortal in the next section, which we'll do next week. So have a go with that section. See if there's any questions for next week from that section. Have a look at your stepping, which is what we did this week. Have a look at how when you turn the back leg in, it can be all one unit through the form. Have a look at through the form when you turn your leg in. Those are kind of really good things to kind of like start to look at. I'll send you the video tomorrow, and any questions in the week, just email me. Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Luke.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Luke.
Yeah, nice one.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, Christine.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Kath. Bye. Cheers, Fred.